So this is a card we're working on, excuse me, today. It was done with the Painted Harvest photopolymer stamp set. This is like a three-step stamp, three-step flower, plus the leaves. And the leaves are all two-step, as well as the acorn. So it's going to turn out to be at least a 4 or 5 step process, which is incredibly simple and quick. So I want to show you, I really want to highlight the stamp set because it's going away, but I also want to highlight the technique of double, triple, whatever stamping and the colors, the color combination that I'm using here. So this one is done with Pumpkin Pie, Poppy Parade, and Cajun Craze. And I think that the color combination is stunning. I saw it in some other card and it just really pops for me. So let's get started. First of all, I want to show you my background. I'm using the new a new texture album or embossing folder that we have in the new catalog coming out in June. And this actually, I spritzed it with alcohol because I really wanted a deep imprint. And I'm leaving it in here to dry. I don't see any wet spots anymore. I think it's almost dry. So I think we'll be ready to put that on. I'm going to get started with stamping. So I'm taking my paper piercing mat, which is supposed to be retiring, but they just decided to carry it over because you really can't stamp without this if you're using photopolymer stamps, because you need that extra little cushion. Photopolymer stamps don't have the layer of foam on like the rubber stamps do. So you don't have any room for error in your surface being just maybe a little uneven or something like that. If you're stamping on glass, you don't need this because glass is pretty much perfectly flat. But any other surface, it tends to be not flat enough, especially plastic tables. They're a mess. All right, so I'm going to start usually with my two-step stamping. I try to start with the darkest one first because I'll be able to see through the stamp. You can see my stamps are very well loved, very used heavily. In fact, I think we did a black and white class with this, so they're stained pretty good. It makes it a little harder to see through when they get that stained up, but the nice thing about this is it doesn't have to line up perfectly. So I'm going to start with my darkest color. Well, not my darkest. My darkest would be Cajun, and I don't want to do the center yet. So I'm going to start with Poppy Parade. And that's going to be a little bit smaller flower. Looks like I might need to re-ink my Poppy Parade. All right, now I'm going to come in with Pumpkin Pie. And of course I just re-inked this one, so it's going to be really dark. That was not what I wanted to happen. I need to clean these stamps. I think I can save it. Hold on. Stay on there, little booger. And I'm just lining up the holes. You can see the hole through the center there. And you're going to see why it's not going to matter if that's not lined up perfectly when we get the center piece put on. Okay, I probably filled up the center a little much because I want to put a saying in there, but it's dark, so I think it'll be okay. All right, so I'm done with the Pumpkin Pie. And the Poppy Parade I'm going to keep out for a minute because I want to show you something else with that one. Next, I'm going to use the Cajun Craze for the center of my flower. It's a little hard because I'm not standing directly over this, and I usually always stand up to stamp, but I'm trying to save my back a little bit tonight by sitting. Okay, so there's that part, and I think I'm finished with that one. Now, let me get the saying and go ahead and do that. That way this part will be finished. Actually, there's one more step in here. I am thankful for you. We'll go right in here. There we go. That shows up nice. And then there's these little dots. Whoops, that's the wrong stamp. There's these little dots that are nice to put in the center of your sunflower. Just adding a few. I don't know, these little dots just really seem to finish this off. Okay, so let me just take this off the white paper so you can see that. Like I said, my Poppy Parade should have been a little bit brighter. You can see on my card that it pops just a little bit more. So I apologize for that. I didn't even think to check that one. Okay, now I want to show you how the little acorn goes together because he's just adorable. And I'm going to take a little scrap of white there. And you have two pieces. So you have the base, or the base of the acorn, and then the acorn itself. Doesn't matter which one you do first. I'm going to do the shell, or the nut part, or the shell part, and then the nut part I'm going to do in, I think I inked it in Cajun Craze actually. Whoops, that one's coming off too. I'm going to just push it on here a little bit. Okay. Just bring that back here so I can see to line it up. There we go. Not too bad. Now these have to be cut out by hand because there aren't any punches or dies that goes with this set. And through the magic of television, I've already done that for this one. And I did want to show you something really cool. Let me just get rid of a couple stamps here. Our fine tip glue pen, I love the fine tip, but I'm not in love with using it as a glue because it dries shiny. However, I would love to tell you that it's one of the best glues around because it's exactly like our, now I'm not going to think of it. We used to carry it as a liquid to make things shiny. And I don't know why I can't think of it. I was just thinking about it. That's why I wanted to show you this. But anyways, on my card, you can see that I made the acorn shiny because I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. And so this is what that does. And it works great for that purpose. I tell you, the trick is you have to make sure every single time that you get this needle down inside of this little hole. And I wear bifocals to see close up, but I want to tell you, I can do it without my glasses on, and anybody can do it if they're really careful. And just take your time, or put your glasses on, or move it closer, or whatever you need to do to make sure you get that in the hole, because it has to seal that off. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be fighting with it. And then you're just going to give it a little squeeze to make sure it's working. And then I'm just going to color it in. It's sort of good if you don't lift the tip as you're coloring. It tends to prevent bubbles a little bit more. And I'm not sure if I got it the whole way over to that corner. I think it looks okay. I'm just going to bring it along the edge to make it smooth it out a little bit. All right, and then that just has to sit and dry for a few minutes until it's completely dry, and then I'll pop it up on the card. All right, so let me get rid of this. And we're going to start putting the card together, because that's almost it, other than the leaf that I need to show you yet. But we're almost finished. I mean, it's so quick and easy. So this is a Cajun Craze base. And then I showed you the embossing folder piece that we're going to use. So that's going to layer on here. And I made it a little short because I want a piece of early espresso at the bottom just to set it off a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on this, but I'm not going to glue it down yet because I need to tie my cord around there. But I do want to make sure that this looks centered when I'm finished. So I'm going to stick that on there like so. And I remember when I was designing this card, I fiddled with it till I liked it. What I ended up doing then is taking, this is a retired washi tape, and I apologize, I don't usually use retired stuff, but this was so gorgeous that I kept it, and I love using it. I even put it on envelopes when I send them to my downline. And I just put that across there for a little extra shimmer. And let me just trim that off. So maybe you have some washi tape on hand that you could use, or you could use a piece of our foil paper if you wanted to do that. All right, then I took a piece of vellum, and this is, I think it's 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm not going to glue that down yet because I only glue vellum behind something that's not going to show. And that something that's not going to show is this early espresso piece, which is, let me think. No, this is 2 3/4. This one is, oh yeah, this is 3 3/4, and this one is 2 3/4. I believe that's how that was. I will try to post in the comments what the exact measurements, guys, since I don't seem to remember. I just cut them 5 seconds ago. This old brain. And then I'm going to go ahead and layer my stamped piece on there. Oops. Sticking pretty good tonight. Okay, now I can put my adhesive anywhere I see the early espresso underneath. And now I'm ready to glue that down. And when I'm gluing, I'm just trying to make sure I have the same amount on the sides as I do at the top, just so it looks like it is lining up well. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and tie my cord around. And what I did was I just wrapped it around a couple of times and then tied a bow. And let me just get a little length here for my bow at the end. I don't know why I must have grabbed the wrong end because it's not wanting to come off the roll very well. There we go. Let's get towards the end so it wants to be cantankerous. And then I'm going to just give it a snip so I can tie it easier. And what I usually do is I cross these and then I tuck it under all of the rows so that they all get tied together. Hopefully I'm still in the screen here. And then do my backwards bow. And there you go. Give that a little snip and a snip. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, now I pulled it a little bit. All right, so now that I have that down, we can go ahead and glue this in place. Ooh, that's pulling a little bit. It's a little bit wet, so I might use some glue dots there instead of adhesive. The embossing folder really affected the fibers, and so they tend to want to come up with the adhesive. So I'm going to just stick some glue dots down here with my scissors so that we don't rip the whole card up after we've done so much work on it. Get on there, buddy. Okay, there we go. All right. Oops, I almost put that on backwards. That would be par for the course. And now I'm just going to center that. Okay, now, last but not least, I used our leaf punch, which actually coordinates with this set. And I punched out a piece in our, I think that's copper. In this light, it doesn't look, but I'm pretty sure I punched out copper. And then I stamped a two-step leaf here with pumpkin pie and Cajun craze. And I'm just going to go in here and punch that out. Get that lined up good. And this punch is also going out. So I showed that in one of my other videos, I believe recently, so that you could see how awesome it is. Just for a great little touch of greenery. Throw a little bit of adhesive on there. And maybe a little bit on this one. And that just sort of tucks under my vellum. Maybe. There we go. Okay, and then our acorn, which let's see if it's dry. It probably isn't quite, but I'm going to try to be really careful. I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensional where I want it to go, and that way I can just drop it right on there, because I'm pretty sure it's not completely dry yet. There we go, and I can let it finish drying on the card. And there it is, folks. How did you like that? Quick, easy card, but completely gorgeous in my estimation. It's not perfect, but pretty sure when I send it to somebody, they're not going to see that, hopefully. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you got a few tips from the video today. And if you'd like to place an order for any of these products that I showed you, please don't be afraid. You can check out my blog, but I don't have my my store on here. It's just stampincindy.stampinup.net, but you can get there from my blog. And I will probably post this on my blog and put some dimensions on there for you. So thanks. Come back again Monday for Make It Monday Facebook Live video, and I will show you some more fun tips. All right. Thanks, guys.